Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing on this amazing Wednesday? Is everybody happy? I'm happy on this Wednesday. A couple of notes. Number one, I finally actually fixed the audio issue. So glad that everybody's here. Let me just make sure I am streaming live right now on Rumble. I am. That's fantastic. Let's see who's in the chat today over on our little platform, shall we? Smith is here. Hey, Smith. Sharon's here. Ronan's here. Future's here. Will, my husband, is in the audience today. Sorry, didn't mean to call you out. Truthy's here. She's here. And Jimbo finally made it. Yes. I hope everybody's getting used to the 2 p.m. start. It's actually really cool because I get some time to get into the groove of the news cycle and get everything that I want to talk about with you kind of there. And it's funny, I was talking to the pre-show because we do a pre-show on locals every day. And I was saying, I wanted to do like a whole show on seed oils. How the hell am I supposed to do a whole show on seed oils when we have this going on all over the... It is really, honestly, like Christmas. It's like we're back in the Ron Paul revolution. Gigi, my buddy, keeps on saying, it's like it's the Ron Paul revolution. And we have a lot to go over today. We're a little clip heavy, but I fixed the audio on it for real. So hit the like button, share it out with your friends, share the stream out. If you're an audio only type of person, or if you just want to be able to know where this show is playing, you now can go to linktree.com/withbeans. That's linktree.com/withbeans, and all of the links to all of the platforms that we're on as of right now are available there for you in one convenient and nifty spot. So go check it out. I wanted to start today's show off, though, by going over CNN and their reaction to the crazy exposure of what we've been dealing with in this country for decades now, with absolute waste, fraud, and abuse at our bureaucracies. And there's only one good way to do that.
Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
We will win! We will win! We won't rest! We won't rest!
It's just a bunch of...
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need
can we
the
play it again?
Democrats need a real leader. Republican.
This is comical. It really is comical. And it continued right here. Look at this.
You just played, spliced with the highlight reel of all the people trying to run the Democratic National Committee at their organizational meeting, ought to be put together, and we ought to take money from the Republican National Committee and play it on a loop. Ladies and gentlemen, the American left is so far off the rails, they're going to have to get Google Maps to find their way back. They are way gone right now, and it's glorious.
Thank you.
You just played.
It's comical at this point to watch. It's a bunch of geriatric old people absolutely terrified that their gravy train is legit gone. The work that's being done right now reminds me so much of back in 2015 when we were dissecting the WikiLeaks emails and showing everybody why these things were bad and the money and the connections and all of it. Except we have, ladies and gentlemen, get ready because we have reached critical mass. They can't keep up with the news cycle. They can't keep up with what's happening. The print media is completely lost, and we're going to talk more about them in just a second. But it really is. We're at critical mass, even if this information just keeps coming out. You cannot put this back in the bottle. You can't put this back in the bottle. It is out. It is coming out daily, quickly, rapidly, like a flood out of a pipe with a leak. Somebody in the audience knows what I'm talking about. And so it's amazing. And I had said this, even if all that happens, even at HHS, for the next 4 years is just the constant stream of information that alerts the American people and the world to what's been going on here for the past several decades, we win. I'm not even talking about politically. I'm talking about as a human race. We are on the cusp of some amazing, amazing things. And I mean, look at this. Look at this.
States and localities run education. That's where 90% of the funding for education goes. They already run it. They should run it. The federal government should not run it. States and localities run education. That's where 90% of the funding for education goes. They already run it. They should run it. The federal government should not run it.
The federal government, yes, because next is the Department of Education. It is literally like I'm back in 2008.
But he just happens to be a friend of Trump, and Trump has a job on his hands, but they're sticking together, and they're doing a fair job and trying to follow some of the campaign promises. It's just that my only problem is some of his campaign promises wouldn't be exactly pure libertarianism.
Yeah.
But the one thing for sure, Trump and Musk are interested in not going out of their way to ridicule libertarianism. Matter of fact, if they see an opening, they'd just as soon we'd be on their side.
Yeah.
And I think that's a sign of what's happening in the community around the country, maybe around the world, that we're witnessing something much bigger than anybody realized, and witnessing the failure, of the progressive era. It's been going on for a long time, but it's been going downhill too. And this is hope it's a climactic end, to the assault on liberty that we've had. Medical care, education, morality in government, and all, a Department of Justice, privacy, all those things have deteriorated. So now we find out this bold guy by the name of Musk, he's in there, he's disrupting things. And you know what? The far left does not like him.
Well,
It's so amazing to me that he can see this. It just makes me so happy that he can see this happening. And again, like I said, in 2012, I was at CPAC. And Trump said, we love Ron Paul, we love his ideas, but he's never going to win. And we got mad. And here he is. And he gets to see that guy doing all, it's just, I said again, on the pre-show, we were having a conversation, and I said, this whole Gaza thing, I used to be so good with geopolitics and like all of that, and I kind of let it go because it was just too much with everything going on directly here at home, and kind of still is, to be honest. So I don't have a real dog in that. I don't have much to say that would bring value to your day. But I'm not even upset. I'm just going to let it be. Like, let this play. Everything else that's going on is so magnificent, for real. And I want to explain to you what Elon is doing at the federal level right now. Did you guys ever hear of a ZBB process in big business? Well, this account here has a beautiful outlay of this. It's called zero-based budgeting. And basically, it's very painful, as per Andrea. And she says, you basically have to justify literally every single expense. And then you cut a bunch of them and you only add back in what is justified at all. So the U.S. government right now is going through this. And that's necessary because spending is out of control and the complexity is so vast that it'll probably take AI, which is being used right now. She says, you can't tell me the government that accidentally wires hundreds of millions of dollars to the Taliban has its finances in order. That signals an underlying disaster. That signals bad stewardship of resources. This is your tax dollars that the Democrats we watched in the beginning are frustrated, are now not flowing to their family and friends and NGOs. And if you think about, like, guys, listen, and I've been saying this for a long time, but a lot of people are kind of new. Like, we like to think that our country is going out there in the world and doing good things and you know, spreading our ideals of freedom and liberty and democracy and through peace. Look how we do it, guys. Don't you want to be like us? You should. Okay, fine. But that's not what we've been doing. And the word nation building has been coming up for decades now, but nobody's had the balls, excuse my French, to do anything about it. Everybody who's attempted to begin to try to do something like what we're doing right now has said, oh my gosh, this is just too big, and backed off. But not the scroll decipherers over at Doge and just one agency. That is your hard-earned tax money plus the money they print out of thin air, which causes the inflation that we've been experiencing. And it's going to hurt a little bit for a lot of people to realize that we are not really the best moral stewards across the world. It's not your fault. You didn't really understand or know or care, but now you do. And all of this rot that we're seeing has to rise to the surface if we're going to fix any of it. And it is gloriously rising to the surface. So we're in the midst of a ZBB. And every day it's something else. Every day it's something else. But this is a clip that I saw. It's a little longer, but it's worth every minute. This is what the Democrats are clamoring about right now.
It was USAID that I fear much more than the CIA, because the USAID is how CIA gets shit done.
USAID is clearly in the job of trying to bring about regime change. It has secret bank accounts, shell companies.
USAID gets $50 billion a year in U.S. taxpayer money. That's a larger overt fund than the CIA has.
USAID perhaps is the new CIA.
Have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably.
This is not just about over there. This is about here.
They have a process, a system by which they destroy other nations, and they use that same process and system in order to destroy the United States.
It's a plot against our own people.
America, what if I told you that the United States government was acting like the world's Gestapo, using organizations like USAID under the pretense of humanitarian aid to topple governments, install politicians, and orchestrate regime changes in third world countries?
I disagree with that as somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat. Yeah. Not here, but, other places.
These are places that are practically entirely run at this point by the CIA and the U.S. State Department, which is, of course, a CIA front.
USAID provides most of the money.
This isn't a giveaway.
The State Department provides the policy vision.
This makes a difference to people's perception of us. Tricky endeavors, whether it's fighting terrorism,
Al-Shabaab groups in USAID camps,
or narcotics.
Joe Biden's State Department is commanding the Taliban to keep the opium flowing.
Or oppression or resistance to governance.
Those USAID trucks were stopped at the border to Venezuela with fully automatic weapons.
All of those things.
I don't think that's humanitarian aid.
What a difference that makes.
And if we stand for democracy anywhere, we have to stand for it everywhere, including in Guatemala.
Guatemala, what if I told you that USAID, the State Department, and the CIA created a fraudulent political party and then used that illegitimate party to rig the 2023 Guatemalan election so they could install a list of CIA-controlled politicians who would continue to allow them to run the world's largest child trafficking network out of Guatemala?
Nothing to do with that? Correlation, not causation?
That is absurd.
They didn't deny it, which means that they admitted it.
This is no question, a political shocker in Guatemala.
The U.S. government, the Biden administration, helped cover up voter fraud.
Why Guatemala? Why not some other country?
Guatemala is concerned about child trafficking, the NGOs that are trafficking the children.
Jill Biden was the chairman of the board of Save the Children.
You guys just raided Save the Children.
Guess who stepped in? The State Department, U.S. Embassy, and USAID. Another coincidence?
America. What if I told you that DHS, under the direct orders of Alejandro Mayorkas, would create a public-private partnership with Mexican cartels, and that HHS, under the direct orders of Xavier Becerra, would create a public-private partnership with NGOs like Save the Children and Southwest Key Programs. And in this quasi-public-private partnership, they would use your tax dollars to fund the world's largest international child trafficking operation.
As to whom we know where they are, that is outside the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security.
This is nothing but lies. Nothing but lies.
Secretary Mayorkas, he acts like none of this ever happens.
It's his policies that caused over 500,000 children being smuggled in this country.
And he also knew who to blame. HHS places those children.
That's on you.
Was that a question to me?
Are you familiar with the sponsors that utilize a strip club as an address? You shrug your shoulders and then send another batch of kids out to sponsor.
Human trafficking bust at an egg farm. Federal prosecutors call it modern-day slavery.
Of course, we investigate cases of trafficking.
Another lie.
And there you have it. I mean, that's just one small thing that nobody realized. This is what we're doing, and it's okay. We are, no matter what happens, everybody understand we are going into a new age here of truth, of uncovering all of this malfeasance, of good and just. And then there's this, which I love.
The CIA has reportedly just offered a buyout to its entire workforce. Everyone in the agencies telling employees late today they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months of pay and benefits. It's a part of Trump's push to downsize the federal government. More as we get it. Fox.
Better than my wildest dreams could have ever wanted. And a little bit more on USAID. And it's not like this has been something new that nobody's talked about before. I think that because we didn't have the numbers of how much of your money, which we'll go through some of them, were being wasted, we didn't realize the full scope of what was going on here.
I have a picture here of an Al-Qaeda leader, and they are in a USAID
2013.
Look who signed the check for the initial $200,000 payment to the Islamic Relief Agency, the United States Agency for International Development. The more you look into USAID, the more shocked you will become. USAID was running a top-secret espionage program to undermine Cuba and push people to dissent. Now, let me show you how much money we're talking about. It included a $1 billion sovereign loan guarantee, $320 million in general assistance. So where else beside the NIH has money been coming from? By far, the largest donors are from USAID and the Department of Defense.
Judicial Watch found that the U.S. State Department and USAID had been giving millions to the Macedonian arm of George Soros's Open Society Foundation. What for? To train youth movements.
So USAID, and those are always, they're known by anybody who pays attention as CIA fronts. This is, you know, the USAID comes into a country, they start doing things, and next thing you know, we've got a revolution on our hands because that's the CIA.
That's the CIA. They've grown bigger and less accountable than the biggest bureaucracies out there. They've become a way for bad people to do really bad things. And most Americans, I would say, don't have bad things in their hearts. They don't want this. And so for every person out there crowing, and there are going to be Republicans that are involved in this too, don't get it twisted. This is not some solely Democrat thing. Anyone with their panties in a bunch, or who's scared, or who says, we didn't elect Elon Musk to do blah, 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 blah. First of all, yes, indeed, we did. We knew what was coming along with Donald Trump when we voted for him. Yes, we did. He actually, like I said, he could have put in RFK as HHS and then just let the chips fall where they may. And, you know, hopefully he gets confirmed. Same with Tulsi, same with Pam Bondi, same with Cash, same with, you know, all of these people that he appointed. Same with the Doge. He could have done that. He could have been like, yeah, but he didn't. This is a no holds barred saving of the United States of America to bring it back to where it used to be? Is everything going to be peachy keen and roses the entire time? No. And when those harder times hit, we need to maintain the same level of knowledge that we have right now about what this is going to take for the largest, quote, empire in the entire world to go back to its roots and understand taking care of its own citizens, for goodness sakes. It's going to be painful sometimes. But for those people who say that, we didn't elect so-and-so, Plandemic, Mickey Willis and Plandemic say, we didn't elect Elon Musk, cry the same people who praise unelected billionaires and policy shapers like Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, George Soros, Klaus Schwab, Larry Fink, Mark Zuckerberg, Reid Hoffman, Michael Bloomberg, Jack Dorsey, Tom Steyer, Christy Walton, Warren Buffett, and on and on and on and on. Alex Soros retweeted Chuck Schumer's post about Elon Musk meddling. Peddling and meddling, the lings. These are the words they like to use. Peddling and debunked conspiracy theories, meddling in our democracy, not a part of the Constitution, like you give a rat's behind about the Constitution. And the best part about all of this is that none of this is against the law. None of it is illegal. They've introduced articles of impeachment already. This so far, barring the Gaza comments, which I still don't have an opinion on, quite honestly, has been better than my wildest imagination could have conceived. It's an absolute uncovering. It's the dark to the light, to pull a phrase from the shit. It is something else. So let's get into my neck of the woods. Let's get into some media. Guys, USAID has been paying the media in this country millions of dollars under the guise of subscription fees for the most part. And also this, Phil Holloway, active social engineering defense, large-scale social deception. Thomson Reuters Special Services, LLC. Go look up what Thomson Reuters does. Look at this. The Department of Defense awarding Thomson Reuters. And that's nothing. Politico reporters didn't get paid yesterday. Sadly, I want to address this morning's payroll issue directly. Due to what we believe to be a technical error, employees did not receive their paychecks as scheduled. No. I don't think that it was a technical error. I think that it was the fact that the government is using your tax dollars to pay Politico, the propaganda arm of the U.S. government, of the deep state, which is clearly a thing, $500,000. They're funding all of it. And I want to say this, and I want to say it before we go into more. Guys, take a moment. Relish in these times. You won. You won with zero budget, zero tax dollars, zero black operations, zero CIA. Like, you won. Tiny little budgetary, tiny little outlets like Uncover DC were somehow, little old me's running around on the internet, were somehow able to defeat the most rich and powerful machine on planet Earth with merely passion and the truth. Think about it. You won in the face of millions and millions and millions of dollars, $8.1 million to Politico. Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo. You won. You won in the face of $622 million to Politico for online news subscriptions. And everyone's like, man, this is just because the government needs to read this and they gift it. This is called soft money laundering. This is what the government does when it wants to pretend that it's buying something it's not really buying. They're funding all of these Politico, They're funding Reuters, they're funding the AP, they're funding the New York Times, all of these outlets that won Pulitzers for their blockbuster fake news journalism during the Spygate era. While intrepid little, nobodies like me and others on Twitter and on other social media platforms were uncovering one of, at the time, sadly that has been dwarfed several times over in my opinion now, some of the most absolute scandals to ever grace our country's shores using I wish if Adam could only put up the little thing of me and Brian Cates accepting the Pulitzer Awards. He photoshopped us in to the Washington Post and the New York Times getting their Pulitzers for Spygate coverage while being paid by the same government that is supposed to be your government to lie. And here I am beating myself up like, we're not funded. I don't know how this is going to continue. My God, help me. Please, God. Just let me walk the right steps to keep this going so that I can get this information to people to help them make informed decisions coming from the purest place inside of me that I could ever have against this bull crap. You won. Be excited. Be excited. Be happy. Be heartened. You won. You won. It's almost enough to bring a tear to my eye. You did it. We did it together. Look at this one. Shaping the new agenda. Because somewhere, Yashir Ali says, I know this is expecting too much, but at least learn what Politico Pro is and what it's used for first. And Bonchi from Red State says, disagree. We don't need to pay Politico $12,000 a user for them to, quote, influence the government agenda with intelligence, empowering policy professionals with the tools and intelligence to influence government priorities in the new administration's first 100 days. This is what U.S. money was being used for, so that these people could push narratives. It's a big wheel. I keep on saying that. I'm going to have to start making merch. And then people will shit all over me for selling merch. While Politico gets billions, if not millions, if not billions of dollars from the government to lie to you every day. Little old me sitting here in my guest bedroom who wants to sell a t-shirt to keep media going. Guys, you see what I'm saying? I can't help it. I have to say this. The number of people that take a dump on me for like having a sponsor or like having an ad up on my website or like selling merchandise and coffee mugs and like a sleep supplement to help people so that I can keep the lights on and keep doing this. Like, you're a shill. Like, no, what? We're up against Politico. I'm gonna sell my effing coffee cups. It's so good. Thank you, I Am Fletcher, for the super chat. It's so true. Guys, you're real, honest, independent media that you help support. Beat this behemoth with passion and integrity and the truth. Have an effing party. Dance in your living rooms. Do you see the smile on my face? I can't. Everybody, like, it's miserable what we're exposing here, but just relish in the pure beauty of what free, pure speech can do. And we didn't even have that. We had grit, determination, and citizen-free press. We had. Gigi just said coffee cups at the Pentagon are $1,250. No, if we do a coffee cup, it will. I have a coffee cup, actually. I have an uncovered, you see, coffee cup right here. This is one of the coffee cups that I've been assaulted online for sale. You know, if somebody wants a coffee mug for $12, that's bad on me. While we're taking on millions of dollars from the U.S. government to try and get you information that we're exposing right now. It's amazing. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. I want dancing. I want dancing and parties and joy and happiness everywhere. I want it everywhere. What else we got here? What else do I have? Oh! More. Why was 13 million going to Reuters? Oh, turns out your tax dollars are paying Politico and the New York Times via the USAID slush fund. White House confirms Politico propped up by millions of dollars from the U.S. government. Here, listen. Listen. Linda. You ever see that clip? Linda, honey, Linda.
Confirm that the more than 8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOJ team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
Oh, you gotta love it. You just gotta love it. You know what else they spent your money on too? You want me? This one's really gonna get you here. Watch this.
USAID sponsored American celebrity visits to Ukraine after Russia's full-scale invasion began. Angelina Jolie, $20 million. Sean Penn, $5 million. Jean-Claude Van Damme, $1.5 million. Orlando Bloom, $8 million. Ben Stiller, $4 million. This was done to increase Zelensky's popularity among foreign audiences, particularly in the United States. The involvement of celebrities made it easier to coordinate funding programs for Ukraine during the conflict.
You won. You won against that. You won. You won. Amazing. You won. You're winning. No matter what happens from today forward, you have won. All of us together collectively, all of you out there, we've won. This, the most powerful evil is nothing against goodness, passion, pureness, honesty, integrity. It all washes out in the end with glee. The truth is rising to the top. You guys are struggling to buy eggs. We have this whole joke about, yeah, I'll pay more money for eggs if it means this keeps happening. Would you guys pay $10 an egg? I saw a video floating by. Oh, I'll pay $10 an egg if this all keeps happening. Yes, I will pay. I will be saving money left and right everywhere else. Do you understand what a fiscally responsible United States will do? It'll be easy to wipe out the IRS and the federal income tax. We're going to go over some more of what USAID has done that we're learning about now, because this is fun, and I like to have fun. USAID spent $70 billion of your hard-earned tax dollars to fund abortions and woke Democrat gender ideology in foreign countries. USAID has been completely unaccountable for decades, run by bureaucrats with agendas who believe they answer to nobody. Here are just a few more of the ridiculous projects on which they spent your money. $7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $4.5 million plus to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. $1.5 million for art for inclusion of people with disabilities. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. And we're going to get around to something very important in a second. Okay? $6 million to transform digital spaces to reflect feminist democratic principles. $2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society. Listen to me. Most of this is money laundering, okay? I don't even believe these programs exist. But I digress. That's just my opinion. $10 million worth of USAID funded meals, all of which went to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group. $25 million to promote green transportation in the country of Georgia. $6 million for tourism in Egypt. $2.5 million to promote inclusion in Vietnam. $16.8 million for a separate inclusion group in Vietnam, not the same one we just talked about. $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance, one of the key NGOs funding the virus research at Wuhan. The thing that ultimately ended up being their undoing at the end of the day, if you ask me. COVID was the spearhead, was the beginning spark that sparked all of this and woke so many people up. So they funded their own demise. Your hubris will be your downfall. That's what I say. $1.1 million to an American LGBT group. $20 million for a group related to a key player in the Russiagate impeachment hoax. $1.2 million to help the African Methodist Episcopal Church Service and Developmental Agency in DC build a state-of-the-art 440-seat auditorium. $1.3 million to Arab and Jewish photographers. $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. $2 million to promote LGBT equality through entrepreneurship in Latin America. $500K to solve sectarian violence in Israel just 10 days before the Hamas attack. $2.3 million for artisanal and small-scale gold mining in the Amazon. $3.9 million for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans. $5.5 million for LGBT activism in Uganda. $6 million for advancing LGBT issues in priority countries around the world. $6.3 million for men who have sex with men in South Africa. $8.3 million for USAID education, equity, and inclusion. USAID's climate strategy outlined a $150 billion whole-of-agency approach to building an equitable world with net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Why somebody, I think it was, then there was more. 12 consulting contract terminations. And it's for a total savings of $30 million, including a $23 million work order for digital modernization program management office support. There's more. There's so much more. And Doge upgraded its technology. They're spending $90 billion a year on IT. 80% of the $90 billion they're spending on IT goes to upkeep of antiquated technology. So, I think it was Juanita Broderick who said, "Can anyone explain why LGBT was so important to the Dems? I don't get it." It wasn't just important to the Dems. The reason why these programs are so well funded is because they fund the demoralization of humanity worldwide. They separate people from the truth of who they really are. They foment that separation under the guise of inclusion. They stop you from having connection with your God, your creator. And it has been a global project. You think that the United States is the only country that's interested in doing this? You've seen this globally, trying to destroy the family, trying to push sickness in your face. Speaking of sickness in your face, I have something to show you because, like I said, it all starts with food, no matter what anybody tries to tell you. And I want you to see this right here. They don't make it easy for you, but you have the choice.
A lot of people put a lot of work into making...
Hold on, let me make sure I've got my volume up here. There we go.
Making sure we keep on eating. As our health reporter Kelly Crow discovered, it's a highly competitive, highly secretive industry with one goal: food that is simply irresistible.
They're trying to increase their share of your stomach and increase the amount of profit they're making off the food you eat.
I ate to the point that it hurt to move, and I would just lie in my bed and wish I was dead.
These companies rely on deep science and pure science to understand how we're attracted to food and how they can make their foods attractive to us.
There's science behind that crunch. Yogurt feels that way in your mouth for a reason. The food industry is even researching the connection between the taste receptors on your tongue and the corresponding chemical reaction in your brain. The result? Carefully engineered combinations of salt, sugar, fat, and chemicals deliberately designed so you can't eat just one. Michael Moss spent 4 years investigating the science behind processed food.
I was totally surprised. I spent time with the top scientists at the largest companies in this country, and it's amazing how much math and science and regression analysis and energy they put into finding the very perfect amount of salt, sugar, and fat in their products that'll send us over the moon.
A search through a database of scientific papers and food industry patents reveals the extent of the science behind food engineering. Chemistry, physics, biology, all commandeered into the service of making profitable food. Here's a process for enhancing the cheese flavor without the cheese, where starting materials are proteins and fats, which means the amount of expensive cheese can be reduced substantially.
And if they can replicate that chemical reaction that may happen on your tongue or an aroma, they can simulate the taste of something without it being at all real.
Bruce Bradley knows firsthand what goes on inside the food industry. A former executive at several large food companies, he's now a writer and industry critic.
There were certainly times that I felt uncomfortable or troubled by what I was doing. And I think that's ultimately, one of the reasons why I left the industry. And then you see trends like obesity and health issues that are increasing, mainly driven by the food that we eat. It was hard for me not to just take a more thorough assessment of what I was doing.
The food industry is extremely secretive, competitive, and proprietary. It took years and hundreds of interviews before Michael Moss could finish his book.
This was like a detective story for me, getting inside the companies with thousands of pages of inside documents and getting their scientists and executives to reveal to me the secrets of how they go at this.
What did he find? That the food processing industry rests on 3 pillars: salt, sugar, and fat.
Well, these are the holy trinity of processed foods. And again, when they hit the perfect amounts, they call it the bliss point for sugar, the mouthfeel for fat, the flavor burst for salt.
You see?
They know.
I'll put that in the show notes so that you can watch the rest of it for yourself. It is one big wheel. Keep you unhealthy? Get away with all this. Disconnect you from your creator? Get away with all the rest. It's coming to a head. It's all coming to a head. How many of you out there who are listening or watching this podcast right now have felt a fundamental shift in everything over the past, let's say 6 months or so? How many? You can't buy anything in the grocery store anymore. Stick around the outside. Stick around the outside of the grocery store. I'm telling you, fix your food, fix what you put in your body for fuel, make yourself healthy, fix your mind, make your mind healthy, reconnect to God. It is just those 3 things. If we do those 3 things, we will change it all. And there's a growing number of people who are doing those 3 things, and hence you're seeing what you're seeing today. It's all you. It's all you. Somebody in the comments just said something. I'm quite on edge about the backlash from some very wealthy and powerful people. I would love it if Putative would call in to the Zoom link I'm going to drop right now so that I can have a conversation with you about that. Hold on. And we can unpack why you feel that way. I want to go through that with you. I want to go through the steps of why you feel that way and like really get down to the nitty gritty of it. Oops. Let me get the link and throw it in the chat for you guys. And I don't want chickens, okay? I don't want people like out there not afraid or, you know, I'm not gonna, what's the point? What is the point if we can't have these conversations? Like the with Beanz part of the show is so that you can pick up your phone, get in here, and we can discuss this stuff together. I have 15 minutes to do that with you right now. Will there be shenanigans? I'm sure there will. But I'm really earnestly wanting to have these conversations with people like Putative to get down to the basics of why it is that we feel this way and work through it, because that fear is completely unfounded. And I want to know why. Like, I'm very curious. I want to cut through the noise there, because A, it hasn't happened yet, and B, there are a lot of people out there that make a lot of money trying to make you think that it will happen. And the more you focus on that, the more energy it gets. And I want to show you a series we've been writing at Uncover DC. Just hold on. Did you guys know every single day at Uncover DC we have a news around the web section that goes over everything that happened in the day? It's what's going on online. Very well documented. There are tweets in here. There's all kinds, like, it's every single day this gets published at Uncover DC, in case you didn't know. But in our journalism section, we are doing a Global Consciousness Project series. This is part 2, but there was a part 1. I will put this in the show notes for everyone. If you've not read this, I highly recommend you do, because I have somebody that has dared to join the waiting room. Let's see what happens. You guys have a lot of power. You have a lot of power, and hold on. Let me I don't know who is who here, but I'll let in John and see what happens here. Let's make sure John's a real person, not a screen full of penises like the other day. Bear with me. Joining. You have a lot of power, and I want you to utilize that power for good. I want you to utilize that power for good. I don't want it to be something that you utilize for bad, which is like focusing on fear 24 hours a day. I think John Connors, who is from the Terminator, apparently, is having a hard time joining. We're having a hard time with John. All right. He came in again. Let's try again. And then we'll put iPhone 2 in. I don't know who that is either, but we're going to do this. It's important. If John Connors can't join, we'll move to iPhone 2 and do that instead. But it did traumatize me. It was bad. You guys didn't have to see it, but I did. I did have to see it. Having a hard time here. Oh, okay. It's an actual person. Wait. John. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Hold on. What? He's gone. There he is. He's back. He's driving. John, you've got a terrible connection.
I was your first phone call when you decided to take a phone call.
Oh!
A couple months back.
I remember. You're just traveling along today, huh?
I am driving around the backcountry, hauling 20 tons of dirt from A to B.
That's fantastic. Your video is locking up and your connection is super bad because you're driving through the countryside. But
well, I thought I would give it a shot because when you said you were going to do this, I was like, why not try?
You could try again tomorrow.
I can do that. I went a month without anything, so I could go, whatever.
Now you get it every day. Now you get beans every day.
Yes, ma'am.
So awesome. Well, we
got anybody else?
Yes, sir. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. We love you so much. Please call again when you're in a better area. Hold on. Let's see who's next. We're going to do iPhone 2. There are people in the waiting room now. We've got people. Here's iPhone 2. Let's admit iPhone 2 and see what... Oh, it's Gigi.
I just had to do this.
Hold on, wait. You're not on the screen yet.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
I got this.
Okay. What do you got?
I got this from 2008, all of Ron Paul's issues. And right now, we're doing it.
Can you read them off for us? Read them off.
Okay. Ron has never voted for the Iraq War. He's never voted for, every one of them says, the unbalanced budget, increased power to the executive. He's never voted to increase power to the executive branch, never voted to restrict our freedoms. He voted against the Patriot Act. He voted against regulating the internet. He voted against reinstating a military draft. He votes to preserve the Constitution, to lower healthcare costs, to end the war on drugs, to protect civil liberties, and health freedom and alternative medicines. So this was 2008 Ron Paul, which I have for 19 years sitting in my Ron Paul book signed by Ron Paul.
Damn right.
And I'm having a great time just enjoying everything we worked for happening now. So I just had to say that, and I love you, and goodbye.
I love you too. Goodbye. It's true. We busted our ass for all this stuff.
Oh, we did. We did.
Yeah, we did. Hold on. I've got more. We've got Billings here. Let's see what happens. Oh, Billings. Come on, Billings. Come on in, Billings. I don't see you. I gotta ask Billings to unmute and also to show video. Otherwise, we are pointless. And then there's one more in here, the PL. And I have to say, I'm very excited that some of you grew a set today. All right? Because what's the point of having with beans if you're not with me? Like, literally, it's pointless. All right, Billings, we've got problems with you, unfortunately. So I'm going to put you back in the waiting room and add in the PL. Hopefully. Oh, my God.
Hiya!
It's Plate Lady.
It wouldn't be a good day if I didn't join.
I can't. For those of you who don't know, which may be many of you, this person, when I was doing my other show with all of my reels and clips and fun stuff, this crazy Plate Lady snuck her ass into my office and joined the show. Plate Lady, how are you today?
Oh, fabulous.
You're doing well?
Yes. I'm excited that I get to see your show every day.
I have to find the clip of you.
Yeah.
I have to find the clip of you coming into my office and sneaking in and scaring the living daylights out of me with your...
One of my favorite moments.
Unbelievable. Thank you for joining us today, Plate Lady.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Goodbye. She's still blowing kisses. She's still blowing kisses. That is somebody that is very close to me who does not wish to be shown publicly. So they wanted to mess with me and made a plate mask. You know what? Let's try Billings again, and then we're just going to call it a day because, here we go.
Tracy, it's Jamie.
It's Jamie.
Hi.
Jamie actually made it.
I know. I was going to get my car inspected and I pulled over.
Well, I thank you for that. It is good to see you, literally.
I know. Good to see you too. It's very cold here in the Northeast. It's only 20 degrees.
Wow. We've got the 60s and 70s here now.
Yeah, it's freezing. It's freezing. But hey, listen, so I just wanted to call with all this, everybody losing their jobs and stuff. And since I'm familiar with that these days, I just wanted to share with everybody, do not despair. This was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it's probably going to be the best thing that ever happened to everybody else too. So I don't know what my new path is yet. I haven't figured it out, but I know I'm better off than I was before, and I think that's going to be the same for everybody else.
Are you happier? Are you finding yourself happier?
Oh my God. I can't believe how stressed out and unhappy I was until I stopped having to do that job.
You didn't realize the weight of it on you, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like, I knew it was taking a toll on me physically and mentally, but then it was like, once it's like I stopped having to go do that, I was like, I can't believe. I think if I had stayed, something bad probably would have happened.
And so the universe made you leave, basically.
Yes.
Which ended up being a blessing in disguise, a huge blessing in disguise. See, all of the things that happened to us, Jamie, they could end up being for us and not to us, and we don't even realize it at the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I think I was in a similar situation that a lot of people are in, and I was kind of the breadwinner of the family. So I have 2 kids that we homeschool. So financially, it was just never going to be in the cards for me to leave. And then it was like just this gift. So yeah, the last month I've just been working on getting myself healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, and figuring out what I'm going to do next.
That's fun. It's fun. Enjoy it and
yes.
And find something that like lights you up and brings you passion and, all of that.
Yes. So I just want to share that with everybody, that do not despair. Good things are in the works for everybody.
Yay. I agree. Thank you for doing this today. I appreciate it. Do it more.
I will. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Fan-frickin-tastic. Awesome. Well, thank you to everybody who had some guts today. It's much appreciated. Even you, plate lady. Unbelievable. Okay. So, if you guys appreciate the show, the daily show, the show that goes on every single day now, and you would like to support us, please head over to uncoverdc.com/support. You can find the link tree for the show at linktree.com/withbeans. I think you'll find that the audio today was much, much, much better than it has been. And if you have any guest suggestions, I appreciate everybody's emails. I really do. And I read them all and I respond to most of them. But I don't need a show format suggestions. Like, I built my show out. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me, like, you should do your whole entire show on, trans rights in Burma. Everybody would love to hear about that. I would love guest suggestions that I could reach out to. But, so I will see you guys all